Hey guys, today I got tagged in a comment by my buddy Scott Jadlinski over at Modern Samurai Project, and that was asking me to explain why I choose 18-yard zero. So to put it very simply, the reason I choose an 18-yard zero, and this is going to be based on all my competition guns, is I'm taking into consideration what the average target distances that we're seeing in our region for shooting matches, right? At my matches, I'm usually seeing stuff that's about 14 yards and in. So if I choose an 18-yard zero, I really don't have to consider holdovers or anything when I'm engaging targets from 18 and in to me, right? Now, the reason I choose an 18-yard zero is mainly for targets that are pushed past that 18-yard mark, right? So if we know ballistics, we know how the round travels when it passes our point or passes our zero, we know the round is still making an upward trajectory, right? So with that being said, let's say this target here is pushed out to 30 yards, right? If I aim dead center of this puppy with an 18-yard zero, I know at 30 yards, it's going to impact ever so slightly high, right? So, which is totally fine on an open target, not a big deal. Now, it's not uncommon to see at major matches and or local matches who want to push like a little bit of the technicality, a little bit more difficulty. What they'll do is they'll obscure it with a no shoot, all right? So this makes this target substantially harder and then add distance to the equation, and it's a doozy, right? So the reason I choose an 18-yard zero is to help mitigate some of those damages. So let's say I come in and I accidentally put my dot right there on the line of the no shoot, right? I don't have the patience to really bring the gun up and I get a little sloppy. If I send that round, that 18-yard zero allows me to have just a little bit of buffer because I know that round's going to be still traveling ever so slightly high, and hopefully I'm going to get about, like, let's say a finger's width above that partial or above that no shoot, right? Another thing to consider is, let's say I shoot at available space. Perfect, good, it keeps me well away from the no shoot. But let's say I aim a little too high, right? So this is where the gamer mode really comes into play. So for instance, let's say best two hits on paper. So let's say I need to shoot this thing twice. All right, the first round, alpha. The second round, let's say, is a mic over the top because I'm trying to stay away from this no shoot. If I throw a mic over the top, what that's going to equate to is about 15 points lost, right? Because it's going to be 10-point penalty for the mic, and it's going to be the 5 points I missed out on that I didn't get in the scoring zone of the target, right? Now, let's go the reverse. Let's say I have a good hit in the center, but then my second shot is down here in the no shoot. That's going to equate to more of a even harsher penalty, which is going to be like, let's say 25 points, because it is a 10-point penalty in the no shoot. It's going to be on top of that another 10-point penalty for the mic, and then it's going to be 5 more points that you missed out on. So it's going to total 25 points. So with that 18-yard zero, if I accidentally come into the position and let's say I jam on the trigger just a little too hard, or let's say I stomp into the position just by like surely moving into the position and I'm not patient enough to let the sight settle on exactly where I want it to be, because let's be real, in the heat of the moment competition, it's not uncommon to yank something, push something, just get a little sloppy. If I have that 18-yard zero, I would rather err on the side of it keeping the round high than ever having the chance of dipping it down to the no shoot. It's one way for me to not even really have to think about holdovers during the course of fire, and it lets me just kind of think about the shooting on hand, and the damage control and risk mitigation has already been factored in to that 18-yard zero. Let me know what you guys think.